Subscribe to Storylab for more stories. Now, let's begin this one. Chapter 1, Ghost Protocol. The C-17 transport's engine screamed as Willard Metcalf watched the Hindu Kush Mountains disappear beneath him. 23 hours ago, he'd been extracting a CIA asset from a Taliban stronghold. 12 hours ago, his commanding officer delivered the recall order with 3 words that made his blood freeze. Family emergency. Immediate. No details. No explanation. Just a priority flight back to Virginia. Willard was Delta Force, team leader for covert operations that didn't officially exist. 41 years old, 16 years in special operations, with more classified missions than birthdays celebrated at home. He'd missed Emma's last 3 birthdays. His 6-year-old daughter, who drew pictures of him in crayon because photographs of his face were locked in government vaults. The pilot's voice crackled through his headset. Major Metcalf, we're 30 minutes out from Andrews. Willard checked his watch. 9:47 p.m. His handler, Rowe, had sent one encrypted message. Don't trust anyone. Come alone. Something was catastrophically wrong. His phone had been dead since Afghanistan, standard protocol for classified operations. As the plane descended, he powered it on. 47 missed calls. 32 voicemails. All from numbers he didn't recognize. He listened to the first message. A woman's trembling voice. Mr. Metcalf, this is Jeannie Turner from Oakwood Elementary. Emma didn't show up for school today, and we can't reach Margaret. Please call. He deleted it. Pulled up the next. A man this time. Willard, it's Frank Schultz from next door. I saw some unusual activity at your house last night. Black SUVs. You should know. Delete. Another message. Another neighbor. Another concerned voice describing the same thing. Government vehicles. Men in suits. His wife acting strange. His wife, Margaret Metcalf. They'd met 7 years ago at a Marine Corps charity gala. She was a psychology consultant for the FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit. Brilliant, beautiful, understanding of his impossible career. Or so he'd thought. The marriage had been strained lately. His deployments grew longer. Her temperament grew colder. But she loved Emma, didn't she? The plane touched down at Andrews Air Force Base at 10:19 p.m. Willard grabbed his tactical bag and bypassed the usual debrief protocol. His commander, Colonel Dustin White, met him at the hangar. Metcalf, what the hell is going on? I've got the FBI calling my personal cell asking about your location. The FBI? Director Byron Shepard himself said it was urgent national security business. White's eyes narrowed. Willard, your mission in Afghanistan. Who authorized the recall? You did, sir. Family emergency. I authorized no such thing. White pulled out his tablet, scrolling through communications. This came through on your encrypted channel. Someone with high-level access spoofed the order. Willard felt ice crystallize in his veins. They wanted me to come home. Or they wanted you out of Afghanistan before. White stopped, his face draining of color. Jesus Christ. The asset you extracted. Muhammad Houston. He had intel on a domestic corruption network. Names of federal officials involved in trafficking operations. Byron Shepard was on that list. Willard said slowly, pieces clicking into place. And Margaret had access to all BU files. She would have seen it. White grabbed his arm. If Shepard knows you're alive. He tried to have me killed in Afghanistan. The ambush at the extraction point wasn't Taliban. Willard's hands clenched. And if I'm supposed to be dead, then Emma and Margaret are loose ends and less. He didn't finish the sentence. He was already running. His Ford Raptor was in long-term parking. Willard drove like a demon through northern Virginia suburbs, running red lights, his mind calculating scenarios. Best case, Emma was safe. Margaret was in protective custody. Shepard's men were there to silence them. Worst case, he pushed the thought away. The house was a colonial in Falls Church, white picket fence, maple trees in the yard. American dream packaging for a family that barely existed. As he turned onto his street, he killed the headlights. There, in his driveway, a black Chevy Suburban with government plates. FBI director's vehicle. Willard parked 3 houses down and moved through the shadows with practiced silence. The front windows were dark, but light leaked from the garage's side door. As he approached, he heard it. Screaming. A child screaming. Emma's screaming. Willard's training evaporated. The tactical operator disappeared, replaced by something primal and murderous. He drew his Sig Sauer P226, the only weapon he'd carried off the plane, and moved to the garage door. The screaming was agonized, animal. Beneath it, another sound, laughter. He looked through the window. His 6-year-old daughter was strapped to his workbench, the table where he'd taught her to identify tools and build birdhouses. Her small body convulsed against the restraints. Angry red burns covered her arms and legs. A blowtorch sat on the tool chest, its blue flame dancing. Margaret stood over Emma, cell phone in hand, filming. She was laughing. Actually laughing. "That's 13, Margaret said cheerfully. 13 burns. Bet you she breaks before midnight." "You were right, Byron. Kids crack faster than adults." Byron Shepard, director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, leaned against the wall in his expensive suit. The father was supposed to die in Kandahar. "This is just cleanup. Make it look like a home invasion gone wrong." The girls just. The door exploded inward. Willard Metcalf entered like a hurricane of controlled violence. 2 shots, precise, clinical. Shepard's kneecaps shattered. He went down screaming. Margaret whirled, her phone clattering to the concrete. Her eyes went wide. "Willard, you're supposed to be dead." "Fatal error," Willard said coldly. He kept the weapon trained on her. "You torture my baby girl." Chapter 2. Broken Protocol. Emma's screaming had stopped. She stared at her father with fever-bright eyes, her small body shaking. "Daddy, I'm here, baby. Daddy's here." Willard's voice almost broke. Almost. But he couldn't afford humanity yet. Not while threats remained. Margaret backed against the wall, hands raised. In 7 years of marriage, he'd never seen fear in her eyes. He saw it now. "Willard, please, you don't understand. I understand you were filming my daughter being tortured." His finger tightened on the trigger. "Give me one reason I shouldn't end you right now." "Because you need me alive." Margaret's voice cracked. "This is bigger than you think. Byron isn't alone. There's a whole network, judges, senators, bureau chiefs. They have files on everyone. If you kill us, they'll hunt Emma forever. She's a witness now. The only way she survives is if I make a deal." Willard studied his wife. The woman he'd made vows with. The mother of his child. A complete stranger. "Why?" The question came out barely above a whisper. "Why?" Margaret laughed bitterly. "Because you were getting too close. Muhammad Houston's intel about the trafficking network. You were going to expose it. Byron needed you dead. I provided psychological profiles on your team, predicted your movements. We sent you into an ambush. And Emma, insurance. If the ambush failed, we'd use her to force your silence." Margaret's mask cracked further. "But then you kept surviving. You always survive." So Byron decided to eliminate all threats. Make it look like a home invasion. Kill Emma, kill me, stage it as a tragedy. You come home to dead family. They console you, case closed. Except I came home early. You always were unpredictable. Something flickered in Margaret's eyes. Not love. Never love. Calculation. But now you're here, and you have a choice. Kill us, and the network activates. Within 24 hours, Emma's face is on every law enforcement database as a priority target. You can't protect her forever. Or you let me broker a deal. I have evidence, videos, documents, transactions. Byron kept insurance files on everyone in the network. I know where they are. We trade the evidence for immunity and protection. Emma stays safe. You stay alive. Everyone wins. Shepard groaned on the floor, hands clutching his shattered knees. "Don't listen to her. She's playing you. The moment you." Willard shot him again. Right shoulder this time. Adults are talking. He moved to the workbench, keeping the weapon trained on Margaret. Emma's restraints were professional-grade zip ties. He cut them with his knife, gathering his daughter gently in his arms. She was burning with fever, her small body covered in precisely placed burns. Torture designed to maximize pain without causing fatal injury. Professional work. "Who else knows about this?" he asked Margaret. "Just the 3 of us." Byron said it had to be contained. "No witnesses. Then you're more valuable dead than alive. The network loses leverage without you." Margaret's face went pale. Willard, think about Emma. The sound of tires on gravel interrupted her. Headlights swept through the garage windows. Multiple vehicles. You called for backup, Willard said flatly. I didn't. I swear. More headlights. At least 3 vehicles, boxing in the house. Professional formation. Tactical team. Willard's mind raced. Emma needed immediate medical attention. He had 1 firearm with 12 rounds left. Unknown number of hostiles outside. His wife and the FBI director. Both loose ends that knew too much. The smart play was execution and exfiltration. Emma whimpered against his chest. Daddy, it hurts. The smart play died. Basement, he told Margaret. Now, you're my hostage, which means you're my shield. The network will kill you. They tried that already. Didn't take. He grabbed Shepard by his expensive collar and dragged the FBI director toward the basement door. You're coming too. We're all going to have a nice long conversation about your network. As they descended into the darkness, Willard heard the tactical teams deploying outside. Professional movements. Standard FBI protocols. Byron Shepard laughed through his pain. You idiot. Did you think I came alone? My security detail has been watching this whole time. You just assaulted the director of the FBI. They'll execute you on sight. Willard smiled. It wasn't a pleasant expression. Then they better have excellent aim. Because if they breach this house, you're the first one I kill. Chapter 3. The Network Exposed. The basement was Willard's sanctuary, converted into a home gym and storage space for his gear. More importantly, it was a fortress. Reinforced walls, single entry point, and enough supplies for a prolonged standoff. He designed it that way. Old habits from too many classified operations. He settled Emma on a weight bench, covering her with emergency blankets from his tactical locker. Her burns needed treatment. He had medical supplies, but nothing adequate for this level of trauma. She needed a hospital, but the moment he stepped outside, the FBI would cut him down. Margaret sat against the wall, hands zip-tied in front of her. Shepard lay on the floor, still bleeding from his wounded knees and shoulder. Willard had bandaged them enough to prevent him from dying. Death was too easy an exit. Talk, Willard commanded, checking his ammunition. 12 rounds left in the Sig Sauer. 2 spare magazines in his tactical locker. 48 rounds total. Against an FBI tactical team, those were bad odds. About what? Shepard gasped. The network. Margaret said you keep insurance files. Where? You'll never find them. Willard pressed his boot against Shepard's shattered knee. The FBI director screamed. Where? Safety deposit box. Bank of Georgetown, under the name Sam Kramer. But you'll never access it. Requires biometric scan in. Your finger will work fine. Willard released the pressure. Who else is in the network? Shepard's face twisted with pain and calculation. Through the basement ceiling, Willard heard footsteps above. The tactical team was inside the house. Clearing rooms. Standard protocol. Senator Alfred Bartlett, Shepard gasped out. Judge Constance Floyd. Deputy Attorney General Rick Dixon. Tech billionaire Eric Blanchard, who handles the digital infrastructure. And at least 40 others in federal positions. We've been operating for 12 years. Trafficking operations across 17 states. Billions in revenue. Trafficking what? Willard's voice was cold. Everything. Drugs, weapons, people. The Bureau provides protection. We control the investigations, bury the evidence, eliminate witnesses. Your Afghan extraction target, Mohammed Houston, he was our accountant. He kept records of everything. When he decided to turn informant, we knew you'd be the one sent to get him. So you sent me into an ambush. We paid the Taliban $2 million to ensure your entire team died. But you're like a fucking cockroach. You survived. Got Houston out. So we moved to phase 2. Eliminate your family. Destroy Houston's credibility by proving him a liar who'd say anything for protection. Without corroboration, his testimony is worthless. Where's Houston now? Margaret spoke up. Witness protection. Location classified. But Byron has people inside WITSEC. Houston has maybe 48 hours before they find him. The basement door rattled. Someone testing it. Federal agents. Willard Metcalf, you are surrounded. Release Director Shepard and come out with your hands raised. Willard recognized the voice. Special Agent Tony Draper. He'd worked with Draper on a joint operation 2 years ago. Good agent. Honest. Which meant he had no idea what was really happening. Draper. Willard called back. This isn't what it looks like. You shot the FBI director. We have orders to use lethal force. You have 60 seconds to comply. Shepard laughed wetly. You're done, Metcalf. The moment you walked into that garage, you became a cop killer. My team has strict orders, shoot on sight. You'll be dead. Emma becomes a ward of the state, and my people inside CPS will ensure she disappears. The network always wins. Willard looked at his daughter. Emma had passed out from pain and trauma. Her breathing was shallow. She needed help soon, or she'd go into shock. Margaret met his eyes. For the first time since he'd known her, she looked almost human. There's a way out. Give me your phone. Why? Because I have friends too. People who aren't part of Byron's network. People who want to see him burn. She held out her zip-tied hands. I was documenting everything. The videos of Emma. I wasn't laughing because I'm a monster. I was creating evidence. Every torture session, every word Byron said, every detail of the network. I recorded it all. You tortured my daughter for evidence. Willard's voice was deadly quiet. I did what I had to do to trap him. Byron's been suspicious of me for weeks. I had to prove my loyalty. The alternative was he kills us both and finds someone else to torture Emma. Margaret's voice cracked. I'm not asking forgiveness. I'm offering a trade. Give me your phone. Let me make one call, and I can get us out of here. Who do you call? Someone who scares Byron more than you do. Willard weighed the options. 60 seconds to surrender. A tactical team that would shoot on sight. A daughter dying from torture wounds. And his wife, the woman who'd betrayed him, tortured his daughter, but might be the only path to survival. He handed her the phone. Margaret dialed a number with shaking hands. Someone answered on the first ring. It's me, she said quietly. Everything's blown. Metcalf came home early. He has Byron, and there's a tactical team about to breach. I need extraction, immunity, and a medical team for a 6-year-old with severe trauma. Yes. Yes, I have everything, videos, locations, the Bank of Georgetown access, all of it. She paused. Thank you, sir. She ended the call and looked at Willard. Help is coming. We just have to survive the next 10 minutes. Who did you call? The one person with the authority to override Byron Shepard. The Attorney General. Above them, the basement door shattered. Chapter 4, Prosecution. Special Agent Tony Draper descended the basement stairs with his weapon raised, tactical team flanking him. He froze when he saw the scene. Director Shepard bleeding on the floor, Margaret Metcalf zip-tied against the wall, and Willard Metcalf standing over a small girl wrapped in emergency blankets. Stand down, Draper, Willard said calmly. This isn't what you think. You shot the director because he was torturing my daughter. Willard gestured to Emma. Look at her. Draper's eyes tracked to the small form. Even from the stairs, he could see the burns covering her exposed skin. His face went pale. Jesus Christ. Check Shepard's phone, Willard continued. Margaret's too. You'll find videos. Evidence. This whole thing is a setup. Metcalf's delusional. Shepard gasped from the floor. He came home and found his wife having an affair. He snapped. Shot me when I tried to intervene. The girl's injuries are from him. Then why were you alone with them? Why did Margaret call 911? Why are there zip-tie marks on Emma's wrists matching the ones on that workbench? Willard's voice was razor-sharp with Delta Force authority. You're a smart agent, Draper. Use your eyes. The tactical team hesitated, weapons still trained on Willard. Draper's expression shifted, confusion giving way to suspicion. He'd been an investigator too long to miss obvious inconsistencies. Sir, Draper asked Shepard, why are you here? Director-level officials don't respond to domestic situations. Margaret called me. Security consultation. Shepard's explanation faltered. The sound of helicopters thundered overhead. Not FBI birds. Different rotors. Military transport. Draper's radio crackled. All units stand down. Repeat, stand down. Orders from AG office. Do not engage. What the hell? Draper muttered, but he lowered his weapon. His team followed suit. The basement door opened again. A woman in a crisp suit descended, Deputy Attorney General Holly Leonard, flanked by U.S. Marshals. She surveyed the scene with cold efficiency. Director Shepard, you're under arrest for conspiracy, racketeering, and corruption. Special Agent Draper, secure the director and seal this scene. Metcalf, your daughter needs immediate medical attention. We have a trauma team standing by. Who authorized this? Draper asked. Attorney General personally. We've been investigating Director Shepard's network for 8 months. Mrs. Metcalf has been our confidential informant. Leonard's gaze shifted to Margaret. Excellent work, Agent Rosales. Though I wish you'd found a less traumatic method. Agent. Willard turned to Margaret. Your FBI? Undercover. Deep cover. Margaret's voice was hollow. I'm sorry, Willard. Everything, our marriage, Emma, all of it, it was an assignment. Byron suspected an investigation, so I was inserted to get close to you. Your security clearance, your missions, your access, it made you the perfect target for the network to recruit or eliminate. I was supposed to prevent that. The words hit like bullets. 7 years. Emma's entire life. All fabricated. And torturing our daughter. His voice cracked on our. Margaret's face finally showed real emotion, anguish. She's not yours biologically. I was already pregnant when we met. Bureau arranged the timing. But I raised her. I love her. When Byron ordered me to prove loyalty through stress testing, I had to make it real enough to document, but controlled enough to, she couldn't finish. Control. Willard looked at Emma's burns. She's 6 years old, and she's alive. If I'd refused, Byron would have done it himself with no limits. I bought time, created evidence, and called for extraction. It was the only play. Leonard intervened. Major Metcalf, I understand your anger, but Agent Rosales saved your life and potentially hundreds of others. The evidence she's gathered will dismantle the largest corruption network in federal law enforcement history. The mission required torturing a child. Willard's words were ice. Don't dress it up with bureaucratic bullshit. You people use my daughter as bait. Yes. Leonard didn't flinch, and I'll have to live with that decision. But right now, Emma needs medical care. Are you going to let your anger kill her, or are you going to be her father? The words cut through his rage. Willard moved to Emma, gently lifting her. She stirred, whimpering. It's okay, baby. We're going to hospital. Daddy's got you. As medics rushed in, Willard caught Margaret's eyes one last time. If she dies, there's no network that can hide you from me. If she dies, Margaret whispered, you won't have to find me. Chapter 5, The Exposure. The Washington Post broke the story at 6 a.m. the next morning. FBI director arrested in massive corruption scandal. Within hours, cable news cycles exploded. Byron Shepard's face dominated every screen. The fallen director, architect of a trafficking empire, now in federal custody at the Metropolitan Correctional Center. Willard watched the news from Emma's hospital room at Walter Reed. She was stable, sedated, covered in specialized burn dressings. The doctors said she'd recover physically. Psychologically was another question. Deputy A.G. Leonard entered without knocking. 2 U.S. Marshals at her back. We need to talk about next steps. My daughter just got out of surgery, and 37 members of a criminal network are preparing their legal defenses. Time matters. Leonard pulled up a chair. Here's the situation. Margaret's evidence is substantial, but not bulletproof. Videos can be challenged as deep fakes. Financial records can be explained away. We need live testimony, specifically Muhammad Houston's testimony and yours. Houston's in protective custody. He was. 6 hours ago, his WITSEC location was compromised. Someone inside the Marshal Service leaked it to the network. Houston is in the wind. Willard's tactical mind engaged despite his exhaustion. They're cleaning house. Houston knows their financial operations. Remove him, and half your case evaporates. Exactly. We need him alive and willing to testify. The network has put a $10 million bounty on him, highest we've ever seen. Professional hitters are already mobilizing. What do you want from me? Find Houston. You extracted him once. Do it again. Leonard placed a tablet on the bed, showing Houston's last known location. He trusts you. He'll go to ground, but you can track him. Meanwhile, I'll pressure the network members in custody. Margaret's videos show at least 9 senior officials directly involved. We can flip some of them, build a case that doesn't rely solely on Houston. And what happens to Emma while I'm hunting? She stays here under armed guard. 24-hour protection from marshals I personally trust. You have my word. She's safe. Willard studied the deputy AG. Holly Leonard had a reputation for ruthless efficiency. She'd built her career prosecuting mob families, Mexican cartels, and corrupt corporations. If anyone could destroy the network, it was her. What about Margaret? What about her? Is she really undercover FBI? Or is that just a convenient story to avoid prosecution? Leonard's expression hardened. Margaret Rosales has been undercover for 9 years, operating in progressively deeper assignments. The marriage to you was her 4th long-term cover identity. She sacrificed more than you can imagine for this investigation, including my daughter's childhood. Yes, including that. Leonard stood. I'm not asking you to forgive her. I'm asking you to help us finish what she started. Byron Shepard is one snake. We need to cut off the whole nest. Willard looked at Emma, sleeping peacefully for the first time in days. Every protective instinct screamed at him to stay. But he also knew the network wouldn't stop. They'd keep coming. Emma would never be safe until they were destroyed. I need gear, full tactical loadout, and access to military intelligence networks to track Houston. Already arranged. There's a Blackhawk waiting on the roof. It'll take you to Quantico, where your equipment is staged. Leonard hesitated. One more thing. Frank Schultz, your neighbor who called about suspicious activity, he's dead. Shot twice in his home last night. Professional hit. The network is eliminating witnesses. Everyone who might have seen something. We've moved 17 other potential witnesses into protective custody, but if they're willing to kill a random neighbor. Leonard trailed off. Willard understood. The network was desperate, cornered, dangerous. How many are we dealing with? Byron named 43 members before his lawyer shut him up. We've arrested 13 so far. The rest are scattered. Some running, some preparing to fight. And all of them are highly connected, highly protected, and highly motivated to avoid prison. Good, Willard said coldly. I prefer when my targets fight back. As Leonard left, Willard kissed Emma's forehead. She stirred slightly, mumbling in her sleep. Daddy, I'll be back soon, baby. And when I am, you'll never have to be scared again. Chapter 6. The Accountant. Muhammad Houston was Ghost. The former network accountant knew how to disappear. He'd been moving money for criminals for over a decade. Now he was running from the same people he'd once worked for. Willard started at Houston's last known location, a safe house outside Richmond. The marshals had moved him there after his initial debriefing. By the time Willard arrived, the house was a crime scene. 2 dead U.S. Marshals. Professional executions, double tap to the head, suppressed weapons, no witnesses. But Houston wasn't among the bodies. He ran. Willard told Leonard via encrypted phone. Probably had an exit strategy planned. Smart. Can you track him? Willard examined the safe house. Houston's room showed signs of hasty departure. Abandoned clothes, toiletries, but no electronics or documents. He found something interesting under the bed. A prepaid phone card, partially used. He's reaching out to someone. Family, friends, maybe old contacts. Willard photographed the card number. Give me call records for this card. Every number he contacted. While Leonard worked that angle, Willard did what he did best. Analyze the target. Houston was Pakistani-American, 53 years old, family in New Jersey. Gambling problem that got him recruited into the network. He'd been skimming money for years before his conscience finally cracked. The turning point was when a trafficking operation included children. Houston had daughters. Willard cross-referenced Houston's profile with known associates. One name stood out, Jeannie Turner, Houston's ex-wife. They divorced 8 years ago, but remained friendly. She lived in Atlantic City. 6 hours later, Willard knocked on Jeannie Turner's apartment door. She answered with a chain lock, eyes suspicious. Who are you? Major Willard Metcalf. I'm the one who extracted your husband from Afghanistan. I need to talk to him. He's not here, but you know where he is. Willard kept his voice calm. People are trying to kill him. Professional killers. He contacted you, didn't he? Jeannie's facade cracked. He called 2 days ago. Said he was in trouble. Needed money. Did you get it to him? Western Union. $5,000. Pickup location in Philadelphia. Where in Philadelphia? I don't know. He just said somewhere safe. Somewhere from before. Willard's mind raced through Houston's file. Philadelphia. Somewhere from before. Houston had attended Temple University, worked as a CPA in Philadelphia before joining the FBI as a forensic accountant. The university. He's hiding on campus. He was back in the Blackhawk 20 minutes later, headed for Philadelphia. Temple's campus was massive. Over 38,000 students, hundreds of buildings. Houston could be anywhere. Willard called Leonard. I need student records from 1992 to 1996. Muhammad Houston. Find out where he lived, who his friends were. Any place he'd feel safe returning to. Leonard worked her magic. He lived off campus his senior year. An apartment on Bottineau Street, near the Art Museum. Buildings still there, converted to graduate student housing. Willard infiltrated the building like smoke. Third floor, into the hall. The door was locked, but locks meant nothing to someone with Delta Force training. He entered silently, weapon ready. Muhammad Houston sat at a small desk, laptop open, surrounded by documents. He looked up with tired eyes. Major Metcalf, I've been expecting you. Then you know why I'm here. To bring me in? To make me testify. Houston gestured to the laptop. I've been compiling additional evidence. Swiss account numbers, transaction records, encrypted communications. Everything I didn't give the FBI before. I was saving it as insurance. Insurance for what? For this exact scenario. The network found me. They'll keep finding me. My only value is in making sure if I die, everything goes public automatically. Houston showed him the laptop screen. Dead man's switch. If I don't enter a password every 12 hours, these files upload to every major news organization simultaneously. Smart, but you're still exposed. I know. That's why I called you. Houston closed the laptop. I'll testify. I'll give you everything. But I need something in return. What? My daughters. Layla and Amira. They're in Karachi with my sister. The network knows about them. If I testify, they'll use my girls as leverage. I need them protected. Brought to America. Given new identities. Willard understood. Houston wasn't running from consequence. He was protecting his family. I can arrange that. But you have to come with me now. There's a safe location, legitimate protection this time. How do I know you're not part of the network? Because if I was, you'd already be dead. Willard lowered his weapon. Byron Shepard tortured my 6-year-old daughter. I want him buried under the deepest federal prison we have. Your testimony makes that happen. Houston studied him for a long moment. What happened to your daughter? I'm sorry. I knew they were monsters, but I didn't realize. Help me destroy them. That's the apology that matters. Houston nodded slowly. All right, but we do this smart. The network has people everywhere. FBI, marshals, local PD. We can't trust traditional channels. Agreed. Willard pulled out his encrypted phone. I'm calling in a favor from someone outside the system. Someone the network can't touch. He dialed a number he hadn't used in 5 years. A gruff voice answered. Metcalf? Jesus, I thought you were dead. Not yet, Rowe. I need extraction for 2. Full black bag. Can you help? Raoul Fink, former Delta operator turned private military contractor, laughed. For you? Always. Send coordinates. Within 2 hours, an unmarked helicopter landed on Temple's football field. Willard and Houston boarded as campus security scrambled to respond. By the time anyone official arrived, they were airborne. Where are we going? Houston asked over the rotors. Somewhere the network will never think to look, Willard replied. And once you're secure, we're going to use you as bait to draw out the rest of them. Houston's eyes widened. That's suicide. No, Willard said coldly. That's justice. Chapter 7. The Trap Springs. The safe house was a former CIA black site in the Blue Ridge Mountains, officially decommissioned, unofficially maintained by operators who knew its value. Raoul Fink's team secured the perimeter while Houston set up his digital operations inside. Here's how this works, Willard explained, spreading maps across the table. We leak your location to the network. They send assets to eliminate you. We capture those assets and make them flip on their handlers. Each flip leads us higher up the chain until we reach everyone involved. Deputy AG Leonard appeared on the secure video feed. That's using a federal witness as bait. I can't officially authorize that. Then unofficially authorize it, Willard said. Your prosecutions are stalling. Senator Alfred Bartlett already made bail, his lawyers arguing insufficient evidence. Judge Constance Floyd used judicial connections to get her case moved to a friendly court. Without Houston's testimony and the network's current operators caught in the act, you lose momentum. Leonard's expression soured because he was right. If anything happens to Houston, it won't. I've defended positions against Taliban assault teams. A few corrupt feds won't even make me sweat. The first probe came 18 hours later. 3 men in tactical gear approaching through the woods, using professional insertion tactics. Raul's team let them get close, then disabled them with non-lethal weapons. Zip-tied and dragged inside, the contractors faced Willard's interrogation. Who hired you? The lead contractor, a man named Van Rivers, stayed silent until Willard showed him the hospital photos of Emma's burns. This is what your employers do. To children. Still want to protect them? Van's resolve cracked. We got the contract through a cutout, Blackwell Security Consultants, run by a guy named Eric Blanchard. He's the network's tech specialist. Handles all their communications, digital security, dark web operations. Where? Northern Virginia. Tech campus in Herndon. But it's a fortress. Cameras, armed guards, the whole setup. Willard smiled. Fortresses are just puzzles. They all have solutions. The second wave came at dawn. A more sophisticated team using drone surveillance and coordinated assault tactics. This time Willard was ready. He'd positioned Houston as obvious bait near a window while the real Houston stayed in the reinforced basement. When the assault team breached, they found themselves in a kill box. No one died. Willard needed them alive. 6 more contractors captured, 6 more interrogations. Each one added pieces. Eric Blanchard coordinated all network operations from his tech facility. Senator Bartlett provided political cover. Judge Floyd manipulated cases. In the center of it all was still Byron Shepard, running the organization from federal detention through coded communications his lawyers smuggled out. We need to cut off the head, Leonard said during a secure briefing. Shepard needs to be isolated completely. No calls, no visits, no lawyers. Can't, Leonard replied. His attorneys filed immediate motions. Right to counsel is absolute. We're fighting it, but he's still coordinating. Then we make him think he's winning, Willard said slowly, an idea forming. He believes Houston is exposed and vulnerable. We let that belief stand. Meanwhile, we hit Blanchard's facility, seize the network's communications infrastructure, and use it to send false information. Make the network think Houston's dead. They relax, get sloppy, we roll them up one by one. That requires a military-style raid on a private facility, Leonard pointed out. I can't authorize that without probable cause. Then get some. Willard turned to Houston. You said Blanchard handles financial transactions. Those servers in his facility must have records. We raided under suspicion of financial crimes, money laundering, wire fraud. Seize everything. Sort out later. Houston nodded. I can give you enough paper trail to justify a warrant. Blanchard's been moving network money through cryptocurrency exchanges. I have the wallet addresses. Leonard made it happen. Federal judge, one of the few not compromised, signed a warrant within 6 hours. But Willard knew a traditional FBI raid would fail. Blanchard's facility would have fail-safes, kill switches to wipe data. We need to go in dark, he told Rowe. Full tactical insertion. Disable security. Secure the servers before anyone can purge data. Can your team handle it? Raul grinned. My guys eat these kinds of operations for breakfast. When do we go? Tonight. 300 hours. Full gear. Chapter 8, Digital Fortress. Eric Blanchard's tech facility looked like any other Northern Virginia startup campus. Modern glass architecture, trendy landscaping, electric car charging stations. But the security was military grade. concentric layers of cameras, motion sensors, biometric access points, and armed guards who moved with contractor discipline. Willard studied the facility from an overwatch position, using night vision to map patrol patterns. Rowe's team, 8 former special operations soldiers, moved into position around the perimeter. The FBI warrant team waited 1 mile out, ready to move in once the site was secured. All teams ready. Rowe confirmed via encrypted radio. Execute, Willard ordered. They hit the facility like a thunderstorm, coordinated, overwhelming, precise. Rowe's team disabled the perimeter security using electronic warfare tools that fried the sensors. Willard entered through the main entrance, using shaped charges to blow the reinforced doors. 4 guards responded. All 4 went down to taser rounds, conscious but incapacitated. Willard needed prisoners, not bodies. Server room, 3rd floor, Houston guided via radio. Look for a secure vault with biometric locks. Willard took the stairs 3 at a time, his Delta Force conditioning making him faster than men half his age. The 3rd floor was a maze of cubicles and server racks. Emergency lights bathed everything in red. The vault door was military-grade. Retinal scanner, keypad, reinforced steel. Willard placed a precision charge on the hinges. The explosion was contained but devastating. The door collapsed inward. Inside, Eric Blanchard sat at command station, fingers flying over keyboards. Multiple monitors showed network communications, financial transactions, and, most importantly, evidence of every crime the network had committed. Step away, Willard commanded, weapon raised. Blanchard's hands froze. He was young, maybe 35, with the arrogance of someone who'd always been the smartest person in the room. You're too late. I've initiated data purge. Everything wipes in 90 seconds. Then I guess I'll just shoot you and figure it out. You need me alive. I'm the only one who knows the encryption keys. Kill me, and you lose everything. Willard shot him. Left kneecap. Blanchard screamed and collapsed. I don't need your cooperation, Willard said coldly. I need your access. He dragged Blanchard to the main terminal and forced his eye open for the retinal scanner. The purge halted with 15 seconds remaining. Houston's voice crackled through the radio. I'm in remotely. Copying everything now. Keep him conscious. I might need additional biometric verification. Willard applied pressure to Blanchard's wounded leg, keeping him awake through pain. How does Shepard communicate from detention? Coded messages, through his lawyer, Jerry Hartman. Blanchard gasped. She's network legal counsel. Passes instructions. How many others are still active? 27 operational members. Files are in the database. Network hierarchy. Operations, everything. Rowe appeared in the doorway. FBI's moving in. We're clear to extract. Willard hoisted Blanchard up. You're coming with us. You're going to testify about every single network operation. And if you try to recant, I'll make sure your recovery from that kneecap takes decades. As FBI teams swarmed the facility, Willard watched them seize years of criminal evidence. Every transaction, every communication, every member of the network, all documented in Blanchard's paranoid need to keep insurance on his associates. Leonard called as dawn broke. We've got them. All of them. 37 arrest warrants issued. Judge Floyd's judicial immunity was revoked. Senator Bartlett's offices are being raided. The whole network is collapsing. What about Shepard? His lawyer, Jerry Hartman, tried to flee the country. Caught at Dulles with $2 million in bearer bonds. She's talking, confirming Shepard ran everything from detention. We're adding witness tampering and obstruction charges. Willard felt something release in his chest. Is it over? The arrests, yes. The prosecutions will take years. But the network is broken. Leonard paused. You did good work, Metcalf. Unconventional, borderline illegal in places, but effective. How's Emma? Stable. Asking for you. You should go to her. Willard into the call and looked at Rowe. We're done here. What about payback? Rowe asked quietly. Shepard tortured your kid. He's going to prison, sure, but prison isn't justice. Willard had thought about that. For days, he'd planned elaborate revenge, ways to make Shepard suffer, to visit on him a fraction of what Emma endured. But looking at the burning tech facility, at the captured network members, at the justice system finally doing its job, he realized something. Shepard's going to Supermax. 23-hour isolation. No contact with other prisoners. No access to power or influence. He'll live in a concrete box for decades, watching everyone he controlled testify against him. That's worse than anything I could do. You're more forgiving than me. I'm not forgiving anything. I'm choosing to be Emma's father instead of Shepard's executioner. There's a difference. Chapter 9, Aftermath. 3 months later, the federal courthouse in Alexandria was packed for Byron Shepard's sentencing. Deputy AG Leonard had personally prosecuted the case, a rare move for someone at her level, but this was the biggest corruption trial in American history. Willard sat in the gallery, Emma beside him. She'd recovered physically, though the burn scars would remain. Psychologically, she was in therapy 3 times a week. The nightmares were decreasing. Slowly, Margaret, Agent Rosales, sat across the aisle in FBI attire. She'd been reinstated to active duty, commended for her undercover work. Bureau leadership tried to arrange a medal ceremony. She'd refused. They hadn't spoken since Emma left the hospital. The judge, a federal appointment from outside Virginia, no network connections, read the verdict. Byron Shepard, you've been found guilty on 47 counts, including racketeering, conspiracy, trafficking, corruption, and attempted murder. The evidence against you is overwhelming. Your betrayal of public trust is absolute. Shepard stood impassively. He'd aged 20 years and 3 months. You will serve 9 consecutive life sentences without possibility of parole at ADX Florence. Bailiff, remand the prisoner. As guards led Shepard away, his eyes found Willard. No defiance left. No arrogance. Just a broken man facing eternity in a concrete tomb. Outside the courthouse, media swarmed. Leonard handled the press conference while Willard slipped away with Emma. They drove to a park near their old house, the house they'd never returned to. Too many ghosts. Daddy, Emma asked quietly, is it really over? The trial is. The bad people are going to prison. But Mom, Emma's voice broke. She hurt me. Why did she hurt me? Willard had rehearsed this conversation with Emma's therapist. There was no good answer. She made a terrible choice. She thought she was protecting you by stopping worse people. But she was wrong. What she did was wrong. Do you still love her? I don't know, he answered honestly. I'm angry. Really angry. But she also helped catch the people who wanted to hurt us. Love is complicated, baby. Dr. Sanderson says complicated things take time to understand. Dr. Sanderson is right. Margaret appeared from behind a tree. Willard tensed, but she raised empty hands. I'm not here to cause trouble. I wanted to say goodbye. Goodbye. Emma asked. I'm transferring to the FBI field office in Seattle. New assignment, new start. You won't see me again. Margaret crouched to Emma's level. I'm sorry. For everything. What I did to you. There's no excuse. You deserve better. Emma stared at her for a long moment. Then, unexpectedly, she hugged Margaret. I forgive you. Margaret broke down, clutching Emma tightly. You're a better person than I'll ever be. When they separated, Margaret looked at Willard. The Bureau is offering you a position. Consultant for hostage rescue and counterterrorism. You'd work with elite teams, train operators. It's good money, minimal deployment time. Emma would have her father around. I'll think about it. Willard, I know you hate me. You should. But I need you to know, what we had, it started as an assignment, but Emma is real. She's the best thing I ever did. Take care of her. Always. Margaret walked away, disappearing into the DC crowd. Willard wondered if he'd ever see her again. Probably not. Some betrayals were too fundamental to overcome. Daddy, Emma tugged his hand. Can we get ice cream? He smiled. After months of trauma and darkness, his daughter wanted ice cream. That felt like hope. Yeah, baby. We can get ice cream. 6 months later, Willard officially joined the FBI as a special consultant. His first assignment was redesigning the Bureau's witness protection protocols, ensuring what happened to Muhammad Houston never happened again. Houston himself testified at 17 trials, providing evidence that convicted over 40 network members. His daughters were successfully extracted from Pakistan and resettled in America under new identities. He retired to somewhere quiet, his debt to conscience finally paid. The network's collapse sent shockwaves through federal law enforcement. 7 senators resigned. 14 federal judges were impeached. The FBI underwent its largest internal investigation in history. Deputy AG Leonard was promoted to Attorney General, her prosecution of the network cementing her reputation. And Emma? She healed. Slowly, painfully, but she healed. The scars remained, physical reminders of the worst night of her life. But she also grew stronger, started a blog to help other trauma survivors, became an advocate for child protection laws. One evening, a year after the trial, Emma asked Willard a question while they built a birdhouse together, recreating the memory from before everything went wrong. "Daddy, do you think people can be forgiven for really bad things?" Willard thought about Margaret, about Shepard, about the network members who'd ruined so many lives. "I think forgiveness is complicated. Some things are too bad to forgive. But people can change. They could try to be better. Like Mom. Like Mom. Do you forgive her?" "I don't know yet," he admitted. "Maybe someday. Or maybe I'll just accept what happened and move forward." "That's okay too." Emma nodded, hammering a nail with focused concentration. "I think I'm okay with moving forward." "Me too, baby. Me too." They finished the birdhouse as the sun set over Virginia. It wasn't perfect. Some nails were crooked, the paint uneven. But it was theirs, built together. A new memory to replace the horror. And for the first time in a year, Willard Metcalf felt something other than rage. He felt peace. This is where our story comes to an end. Share your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for your precious time. If you enjoyed this story, then please make sure you subscribe to this channel. That would help me a lot. Click on the video you see on the screen, and I will see you there.